This overweight man arrived at an airport in India for the first time. As he turned around, he noticed a small, skinny beggar who had been quietly following him for a long time. The man took out a few coins and handed them to the beggar, speaking some condescending words. To his surprise, the beggar fully understood the insult, and instead, he threw all the coins on the ground. Later, while the man was in the restroom, he suddenly realized that the same beggar had boldly followed him inside. The man was about to teach the greedy beggar a lesson, but the beggar forcefully pulled him out of the restroom. Soon after, the man's flight landed, and he walked into his hotel room with a blank expression. The hotel bellboy eagerly brought in his luggage, but noticed that, unlike before when the man was generous with tips, this time he had no intention of giving any money. The bellboy left disappointed. The man, however, sat heavily on the edge of the bed, breathing heavily when suddenly blood began pouring from his body. The next day, the police arrived at the hotel room, only to find a line of finger marks in the corner of the bed sheets, which seemed like something a child might leave behind. Forensic scientist Lisa examined the body and discovered that the man's internal organs appeared to have been stretched apart, with nearly all of his organs mysteriously ruptured. Meanwhile, the beggar, now disguised as someone else, applied for a janitor position at a local elementary school. The principal had no idea he was the same beggar. A young boy named Jack was targeted by the beggar, who was pretending to sweep the streets after school. That night, while Jack was lying in bed, he suddenly saw the beggar standing at the door. Terrified, he called out to his father. When Jack looked again, the beggar was gone. His father thought Jack had just had a nightmare and left the room. As his father sat in the living room watching TV, he didn't notice the beggar standing behind him. Suddenly, Jack heard his father scream in pain, and he rushed out of the room to find him. He moved quietly, only to discover that his father had already passed away. The next day, Lisa visited the morgue and saw Jack's father's body, his stomach bloated like a pregnant woman's. She quickly put on protective gear and began the autopsy. As she cut open the dead man's abdomen, she was startled and stepped back several paces. Her gun fell to the floor as a small hand reached out from inside the man's stomach. Lisa, trembling, picked up the gun, but when she turned around, the thing inside the body was gone. She followed the blood trail to a storage room, but when she opened the door, nothing was there. After Lisa left the scene, the beggar slowly revealed himself. The next day, Lisa visited a professor who studied Indian culture and learned that the beggar had the ability to become invisible and disappear, as well as transform into someone else's appearance. At that moment, at an airport in India, the beggar blended back into the crowd, quietly searching for his next target. After watching the movie, please share your thoughts. The film is from the United States, The X-Files Season Faye, Episode Faye.